Chuck Wilder here. Our toll-free line, 1-800-336-2225. I want to go to my guest, David Bego. He's the author of Devil at My Doorstep, and this book stems from his actual first-hand experience while waging war. We've seen that just recently, right? The war going on in Wisconsin. Well, anyway, waging war with Andy Stern, the man who probably has his own key to the White House. And the SEIU, and it goes back from late 2006 until today, he's still waging this war. He's been fighting back against one of the most powerful unions in existence today. He has lived the experience while under attack from Stern and his union thugs. David had the courage to stand up for what he believes in, protecting his employees at all costs against the loss of their freedom to vote in secret ballot elections, with no threat of repercussion from those who may disagree with their choice as to whether unionization is proper. And despite damage to his reputation, he has managed thus far to survive the SEIU onslaught, and he has emerged with his integrity intact. And David and his integrity are here until the top of the hour. Hey, David, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great, Chuck. It's great to be back on with you again.
Well, I was looking at some of what's going on, on the news just before I came on, and I see that the latest here is that the union in Wisconsin, I always say they're banging, their spoon on their high chairs. Now they're unhappy, so they say maybe we'll just strike. We'll show you. We'll just get all the union employees to strike. Ha ha ha! Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, it's another one of their tactics, just like they used against us. And as I tell people often, I sit back and watch what's going on in Wisconsin, not just Wisconsin, but Indiana and over in Ohio. And, it's the same things over and over again, the tactics they use. And
I'll tell you real quick, yesterday or the day before yesterday, I guess it was, I got one of those automatic calling things, right here on my studio number, and it was from the Union for California telling you, we're, I think, 24th or 26th or whatever. Get ready, California. We're going to tell you where you can get your buses, and we're going to have all your signs ready for you and all that, and it just goes on and on and on, and here's the number if you need any more information. I kind of got upset and, went ahead and erased it, and then I thought, I should have saved that and given this guy a call back, but, they're preparing, I guess, and as your latest article says, America at the crossroads. As Wisconsin goes, so goes America. So get ready. It's coming to a town near you.
Well, it is. And, this governor in Wisconsin, I hope he holds strong and is a model for other governors across the country, because this thing it's going to continue to erupt. And what people need to understand is that it's not the rank and file. I've told you that before. It's the union bosses and the elitist, and they're bound and determined to hold on to their golden spoon. And most of these people that are showing up, or a big percentage of them anyway, that are showing up at these rallies across the country, like in Wisconsin, are people that are either paid to come in, or they're bussed in, or they're union members that are bussed in from other states, or, as in the case of in Indiana this week, and this is really interesting, Chuck, you'll find this interesting. My daughter found this online, but the unions are actually advertising on Craigslist to pay people $7.50 an hour to come down and hold signs and protest against the Indiana state government.
I'll tell you. And I saw somewhere where Governor Scott Walker, it's sort of like, well, once you get the ball rolling, he carried it all the way through, because it was like, well, they're going to use it against me anyway, no matter what I've done, so I might as well just go ahead and do it the right way. And he officially today, I guess it was, cut off the collective bargaining. And it's also interesting, David, we're coming up on a break, about how government people get involved in this and then the thing is they don't even have what they're trying to fight for and for their union. And we know what they're fighting for. They're fighting for their campaign contributions. And when we come back, David, I want to get further into your article and also tell the listeners when we return about how much these poor little union bosses make out of the donations coming from these people. David Bego is my guest, Devil at My Doorstep. Great book. And the website for that book is thedevilatmydoorstep.com.
Everybody's talking at me.
My guest, Dave Bego, author, The Devil at My Doorstep. How do you spell devil? Let's see, S-C-I-U. Is that close, David?
That's close enough.
And I'm still thinking, here your daughter finds out Craigslist. You, too, can be a demonstrator. $7.50 an hour. Is that what you said, $7.50 an hour?
Yep.
Let's see, I get off here at 2. That would be daylight savings time starting Monday. Oh, okay, yes. How much do the union bosses, I know they're doing the work of the teachers and the public workers, so what do they get, about, $30,000 a year?
Oh, the union bosses? No, they're way up in six figures, as much as we know anymore. The problem is that the Obama administration, and since he's been in office, has restricted the information the union has to report anymore. So it's really hard to figure out what they're spending their money on.
All those meetings he had with Stern, and he had to show the records for the White House meetings, and with lobbyists. So now they're meeting off the White House grounds, and I know you know that because on your blog newsletter that you put out, you're on top of everything. So they don't have to show the records now because they're meeting away from the White House. In the beginning of your article, Dave, America at the Crossroads, you're talking about the unions and how much of the workforce they actually represent. And when you think, listener, and about what you're seeing on television and all these drum beatings and all these people out there that were bussed in, and you're thinking, boy, the whole state of Wisconsin, man, they're ready to kill these Republicans. Give them the actual figures, would you, of the workforce?
Well, right now the unions only represent like 11.9% of the workforce. Of the private workforce, they only represent 6.8, 6.9, and of the public workforce, about 35%. So when you put that in perspective across the country, we
doesn't sound like the majority.
No, we have 150 million workers, and you're talking, 12% of them, and if you divide that in half, because we have 300 million people living in this country, you're talking about 6% of the people that are wagging the tail of the dog. And I can even take that a step further, and I didn't say this in the blog, but it's not most of the rank and file people. So you're talking about the union bosses, which is another very small percentage. So you're talking maybe 1% of the people in this country that are holding us hostage on these issues.
And why would they have all this power, and why would the left seem to be so supportive of them? Well, that's because the union dues they collect, they go into making sure that they get as many Democratic political figures elected as possible. And that's the bottom line right there.
Well, it is, and the sad thing about these demonstrations, and again, I feel, I support Scott Walker in Wisconsin wholeheartedly. I hope the governors in Indiana and Ohio step up and do the same thing. And but when you look at this situation, all they're trying to do is create a sympathetic media event, and the problem is that all the networks and even the cable news channels kind of go along with it and say, well, we're going to give away collective bargaining and that. What they're not saying is that all these people out here that are demonstrating represent a very, very small percentage, and a big percentage of them are being bussed in or paid to come in and do these demonstrations just so that they can stop the agendas by this governor.
And as you mentioned in your article, that the big labor, liberal Democrats, and the White House, they are just set on pressing this social justice agenda, despite the fact that the nation is on life support. On life support. And Dave, when he did his first campaign speech of the year, which was called a memorial for Giffords, and he got on this whole kick about civility and come on, we all got to get along, so to speak, and let's stop using all these hate words. And boy, they just threw that out the window, didn't they, when the Wisconsin thing first started. Civility apparently was supposed to only apply to Republicans and independents.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting you bring that up because as I talk to people, I tell them, I said, you have to understand something. They don't want a level playing field. They don't want to debate you one-to-one in an open forum. They don't want to do it in a situation where it's just one-on-one or two-on-two or your group, and they want a situation where they create a disadvantage. And so they have an unlevel playing field in their favor. And the minute that they have a level playing field, like what happened in Wisconsin, the people voted more Republicans in. What do is they pick up their toys and go home.
Mm-hmm. And they are shouting about, not only the strike, they're talking about that today, but also recall. The people they should be shouting about recalling are the 14 Democrats who went into hiding for 3 weeks and weren't doing their job that they were elected to do. Doesn't it sound like they've turned the tables backwards, or are they looking in a mirror and not seeing it the way it should be? The 14 that ran away should be the ones that are kicked out of office.
Well, absolutely. And, if any of us in our jobs went away and didn't do our jobs, didn't show up for work, we'd be terminated. And, again, this is, and I know this is kind of repetitive, but it's this unlevel playing field thing is, we don't want to deal with you in open daylight in a situation where, we all can debate openly, and especially if we can't win. So we have to find a way to change the rules or change the situation so that we can win. And we saw the same thing with the union against us. We had a situation down in Cincinnati where one of our customers was building a new tower, and the SEIU infiltrated the city council. And the city council was going to vote against the ordinances for, tax abatement and the infrastructure and all that because of the SEIU. So the customer came to me and said, Dave, we need your help. What can we do? And so let's debate openly in front of the city council. I'll be there, have the SEIU there. You guys can be there. And I'll guarantee you, if we lay the facts out as I know they are true, we'll win. So this was on a Thursday afternoon, by the way, and everybody agreed to it, even the SEIU. And it was set for the following Monday at 2 o'clock. I got a phone call on Sunday afternoon from my attorney and said the SEIU has backed down. They don't want an open debate. They've agreed to not stand in front of this building being completed, and the city council is going to go ahead and vote for the tax abatements and infrastructure.
What, did Bigo ring a bell?
Yeah, and see, this is the thing. You give them a chance to debate openly on an even playing field, and they don't want it. So they have to go out and create one, whether it's through the picketing or through recall or whatever it is. They're always looking for a way so that they can find a way around the rules to win.
It's sort of